Yo, what is up guys? So I'm here to talk about console versus PC. What is it easier to climb up with and what are the differences mainly with the game? Now, a lot of you guys had this question when you guys came into my live stream. By the way, gameplay in the background, we're just playing some different heroes, mixing it up over here. We got Sniper Wolf on the other team though. Oh, I'm so glad, it's like a free win. Anyways, BM aside, as far as the game being so much easier on console, like if you were a diamond player on PC, if you went to console, you'd be top 500. I don't believe that that's true. A lot of you guys came in and asked me, what are the main differences with the game? How do I like it on PC? And like, why are you playing the game on console versus PC? Now, I wanted to create Overwatch content on my channel, and right now I'm still working on getting Grandmasters over on console. Technically, my season high is still higher on PC, but don't worry, we'll get there. We're in Masters right now, so it's not too far away. But anyways, in terms of like console versus PC, is it easier to climb? I would say it depends on the hero, and that's the most important thing to take away from this. And also, as far as the differences go with the game, I know some games on PC and console, like sometimes they're made by different developers, so the games can have a completely different feel. And I want to say that's not necessarily the case with Overwatch. However, on certain maps like Junkertown, it's very difficult to perform well when sometimes you get frame drops like crazy. Like, I don't know why on Junkertown, specifically that map, but sometimes on certain maps you will just like lose frames. I don't know why it does this on console, but I hope in the future they fix this. But that's the only real issue I have with the game as far as it not like functioning properly, if that makes sense. But it also depends on the heroes that you are playing, because that can also affect some of the, like, I guess not necessarily lag, but some of the frame drops, because when you ult as Diva and you're popping a bunch of the pinatas on certain maps, or like just like terrain that can like change, that is what can, that's what seems to cause it. But again, this is not like something that is intentionally like made to cause issues with the game. I just hope that they like either remove some of like the destructibles in the game, so the console version of the game can run at like a more normal frame rate. But anyways, let's go and jump into some of the heroes that I think are better, because I think that that's the best answer to your question. Now, some of these are going to be just strictly facts, and some of these will be my opinion. However, a lot of these will be unarguable. Like, having aim assist is the biggest thing and the biggest difference between going from PC to console. Having aim assist is actually bad on some heroes, and I want to get into that. So, this is not a tier list as far as heroes go. As far as just like in the game, it's just a list that I have that I feel like on console they benefit more on. So if you are a player that plays these on PC and you move over to console, these are characters that I would say have a better advantage, even though technically if your opponent's playing them, they would also have that advantage. But these are just my personal opinions on it. But you guys had this question of, what characters are better on console, and also, like, is the game easier? And like I said, it all depends on the characters, and that's the best thing to take away from this video. But anyways, so, first off, in this category, I feel like these characters strictly get buffs from playing on console. The first one, Soldier. Obviously, anything that's really hit scan is just going to be benefiting off of console of having aim assist. Now, like I said, there are characters having aim assist will actually hurt you, and I'll get into that in just a moment. So usually you just want to disable that, and obviously at that point, they would be considered like worse on console or like no change, because obviously, if you're playing hit scan, why would you turn aim assist off? That's crazy to me. However, there is one exception to this, and I'll get into that in a second as well. But anything that would require you to put your cursor on them and the hit is instant, I think that you would get an advantage off like Soldier, Bastion, Reaper, Sombra. Zarya isn't hit scan, however, Zarya's beam is much easier to use over on console because it basically tracks for you. So yeah, Tracer, same thing. Diva, kind of the same boat over there, because Diva technically is hit scan. And if you go up to someone's face on Diva and you're just able to point blank shoot them over and over, it's actually a pretty big advantage over on console, because on PC, a lot of people, they just can't use Diva's aim. That's why you'll see it on console. Less people will use Diva and they'll dive and then they'll go for the melee before their auto. And on PC, you see that much more common. It's just very consistent to get Diva's auto attacks off on console. But this one, the last one over here, is Symmetra, and she benefits on console in a completely different way. So instead of it being easier for you to land your shots, it's more so that they can't hit your turrets as easy. For example, if you split up your turrets and the opponent is playing Mccree, it's very difficult for them to like hit the targets versus on PC. So like that's why Symmetra I would consider in the S tier category, or the category of these pretty much just get a huge buff over on console. Now, the next category I have over here, I put in the 8 here. These technically have a buff and a nerf on console when you're moving, if you are, again, a Genji player going on the console from PC. Genji, his left click, or his ability where he would throw the shurikens, you know, 3 of them, but they would be like in a straight line. Well, technically, because they're a projectile, you can kind of curve it, but you guys get the idea. The basic attack of Genji, where it shoots the shurikens like in a straight line if you're not moving, that I wouldn't want to have aim assist, because sometimes you need to lead your shots because they need to walk into it. And that's something that you cannot do, obviously, on console if you turn on aim assist. It can be a little bit more difficult, is really what it comes down to. However, Genji does technically take a buff over here, because if you actually use his alternate fire, so his L2 or right click, where you're throwing 3 shurikens at the same time and it throws them in like a line, the fan, basically that has a huge buff on console because of aim assist. You'd want aim assist on because you would then be able to kind of just hit your target much easier. That's just the way I see it with Genji. So he takes a buff and a nerf, if that makes sense, because if you have aim assist on, you'll be able to hit your target much easier with the alternate fire, but with the main fire, I personally don't like aim assist on Genji. So you can't actually adjust it. I wish you could adjust it by holding a button or something. Like if you hold, I don't know, like L3 or something, it would turn on and off aim assist, because like I said, sometimes you do want off for certain heroes. Next up, Mccree. I feel like Mccree, he's much better in the sense where you're able to land your shots because of aim assist. However, when you flashbang someone, you're trying to go for that headshot, it's more difficult on console to get the headshot. I mean, you could turn off aim assist for that, but I think you gotta be crazy to do that. But that's specifically, like, against Tracer is really important, and it becomes a little bit more of a task on console. That's just my personal take on it, and I think a lot of people would agree. In fact, they were complaining about this when they changed some of the aiming system. I guess they changed the aiming system a while back on Overwatch when they added some like other features to it. I didn't play back when they like first had the I guess it was like linear ramp, and it was like aim assist strength. They added something, and then like some people got upset. I remember people were complaining about it on Reddit, but for the most part, I didn't play that, so I can't really give you guys my experience on like the previous iteration of all like the analog dual zone things. But anyways, I'd say Mccree has a buff and a nerf over there, in a sense. Next up, Roadhog. I like his normal shots because even though Roadhog, his main fire is pretty much a hit scan, even though they kind of go out, you're going to be so close up to him, it's basically hit scan, right? Even with the alternate fire, it makes it much easier to aim. However, the hook is significantly nerfed on console because you can't flick as easy as you would. Also, aim assist when you're trying to go for either prediction hooks or pre-hooking, it's much easier if there's no aim assist, because sometimes I've noticed this a lot when I play Roadhog, because I mean Hog pretty much on PC for a while. And the thing with Roadhog is sometimes your hook will try to hook someone that's through a wall, and it'll use that aim assist, and it'll work against you. So that's just Roadhog for you. But Torb, he took a nerf in damage. However, he's still kind of like buffed because it's harder to, like, you know, like 180 and hit the turret if you notice the turret's hitting you, or turn 90 degrees. So that's my thoughts on Torb. As far as these other heroes that I put in like the C category, these are just like so minor as far as like changes that I feel like they don't make a difference. That would be Mercy, Hanzo, Lucio, Zen. Winston technically is buffed in a sense because he doesn't need to aim, but at the same time, like it's not like in PC he like requires aim anyways, if you guys know what I'm saying. It's more just positioning, which that's easy enough to do with a controller that I don't think it's that big of a deal. Pretty much same thing with all of the rest of the heroes. Pharah and Junkrat, I actually recommend turning aim assist off or turning it a little bit lower, simply because you actually want to lead your shots a lot of times, and if you have aim assist on, that can actually hurt you. So there's why I would turn aim assist off. Erisa's not a hit scan, so yeah, she's in the category too. With Moira, I feel like it's very minor, but I did want to mention this because she is the newer hero in the game. When you want a 180 and throw an orb to heal or do damage, it's a little bit more difficult on console. But for the most part, I feel like if you're used to it, you can still do it. It's not that big of a difference, so I don't want to like put her in a different category. And then for the F tier, these are just characters I think unarguably took a huge nerf. Now, obviously, if you're playing with a keyboard and mouse, like obviously this is irrelevant for Widow, but Widow's so much harder for me to play on console. Like I just can't do it. Like even if it's Temple Loomis, I will not go for Widow because I feel like I just can't aim with Widow over on console. That's simply because she does have aim assist technically. I tried to BM Sniper Wolf with that with the solo rip tire there, but anyways. yeah, I just feel like overall Widow's just much better on PC. And if you're obviously playing with a keyboard and mouse, then I guess ignore that, because I mean the main question was which heroes are like better. What are my thoughts on it? And this is to answer that question. Now Mei, the left click is already easy enough to hit, but technically like it would be better for Mei in a sense. But with the right clicks, I just say overall it's kind of just a nerf, because you need to lead the shots, and that's kind of important if you're playing Mei. So I would say Mei isn't as good. I mean, you could put her in kind of the category of like it's not really changed, but I prefer having aim assist on my heroes if possible. But it just kind of makes it difficult on longer distances, and you do kind of get those lucky one shots on tracers. On PC, I would say a little bit easier because you can kind of direct where it goes, but technically it might be random anyways. Next up, Ana. I feel like Ana is much worse on console. Like, trying to aim with Ana, like, good luck, man. Enjoy trying to aim with that when you're aiming down sights. It's just a bad time overall. That's my personal take on it. You see a lot less Ana on console, but Ana's kind of a hard character to play anyways. My last character, though, is going to go ahead and be Doomfist, and I put him in this category as he is definitely nerfed on console, simply because a lot of times on Doomfist, what you want to do is you want to dive in with his, like, seismic slam. And you want to like dive in and then like 180, so you can actually bounce them backwards, and it disorients them much better. And I feel like Doomfist definitely has a huge buff on PC in terms of being able to just kind of maneuver with the mouse a little bit more. Like, you can 180 much easier. I think one thing that would really help out with console, I mean, I guess move this over here so it's not covering the chat. But the thing is that if they added a button on console to 180, I think it would really solve a lot of these issues with certain heroes. Like, again, like Moira would be like one of those heroes where there's a lot of times I would like to 180 and throw an orb, or like other heroes where, like, if I'm playing a Pharaoh or something, like just to 180 on PC is obviously much easier. Same thing with like Lucio to get like a boot bop, but it's kind of a small thing, because Lucio, you don't really need to have, you know, like lower sensitivity with him. I'd say you could probably play him on a really high sensitivity anyways, because most of the time the boop is more important on certain maps than a just a regular fire. But anyways, hopefully this helps out and addresses your question as far as Overwatch PC versus console. What's better? Overall, I like both of them. You still get people that throw. You still get toxic people. It's about the same, I'll be honest. However, I want to say a lot of people complain about no one joins in the chat. I noticed that's more on like the EU side, but as I ranked up, because I played at a lower rank on console as well, like in quick play, there's a lot less people on the microphones. However, as far as player base goes in terms of skill, it's much easier to get top 500 on console, and that's not because like the players are bad. It's more so because I would say there's probably less players on console. That's just my guess. Although I'm talking about in rank, by the way, at a higher level, simply because I think that's basically a fact, but someone correct me if I'm wrong on that, because on console, it's much easier to get top 500, because on console, you'll see people that are like 4,200 and they'll be like top 500, and on PC to be top 500, well, at the last time I checked, it was like 4,400 to be top 500, and it's like 4,200-ish. So in terms of like SR, like the flat number, it would be easier theoretically on console. But as far as like people saying that, you know, if you're diamond on PC, you'd be top 500. If you're diamond on PC, you'd be top 500 on console. I really don't think that's the case. I think that there's still respectable players. There's a lot of players that actually were, you know, top 500 players, and people always made fun of them. I mean, I remember at DSP, Stanky was one of those. Tons of other people, they made it on console, and then people trash talked them. They went on PC and they got top 500 as well. So I have no disrespect for console players at all. Like, obviously, like when I played Call of Duty, I know I played a ton of ranked Call of Duty on a console as well, but I enjoy the game on both. I don't feel like there's one that's like definitely better in terms of like player base, because people are like, oh, console players are much more toxic, or PC players are much more toxic. It's honestly about the same. But in terms of like the game running smooth, I would say PC is a much better experience, and that's like the biggest thing to take away from it. But I wanted to answer a lot of the questions you guys had and just show off this. I guess we can move this now that we've talked about all the heroes. But hopefully this has addressed any of the questions that you guys had. And overall, some of you guys asked, you know, I'm thinking about getting this game, should I get on PC or console? I watched you play on both. Like, honestly, I think PC is overall better experience. However, it's only due to the specific map, Junkertown. If they can fix that, I would say it's almost the same. Sometimes you will get frame drops. It's very rare. if you're playing on a PS4 Pro. So also that can factor in. If you do have a PS4 Pro, you do get to load in faster, and that means you get to select your hero. So if you're a Mercy main over there, you just select that Mercy much faster than anyone else, and there you'll be good to go. So that is technically a huge advantage you get on a PS4 Pro, because I get to load in faster than anyone else, and that can be an advantage if you are a one-trick. But overall, and that's the same thing with PC, by the way. If you have a better computer, you're going to be loading in faster so you can select your hero. That's not anything that's like too special to PC keep. Sometimes it's just how games are. You just get to load in faster. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button to see more fidget spinner videos.